more minutes will give you a full hour.
Okay.
All right. We started with him. We started unplugging him and plugging you in at 1:39.
Okay.
Right.
I was close to 2 o'clock. Right. I went on about 1:45 and then.
All right. I told you this time.
Oh, okay.
So 15 more minutes will give you a full hour.
Okay.
All right. You wanna go to the village?
Okay. Wow.
DJ Rome is up. We're going to be up all night. Hallelujah. Amen. No. Shout out to DJ Rich Williams, another gospel DJ extraordinaire, coming to rock with the Function Sound on May 27th at the Summer Jam 3, hashtag Summer Jam 3 in Eastern Pennsylvania. DJ Rich Williams will be representing for the gospel music heads out there, the gospel house heads out there. Dr. D, you know Rich Williams?
We played the song we played.
That's right.
You Love God?
Oh, yeah.
That was him.
Also on that same bill, while I'm speaking on it, DJ Rome from the Function Sound is going to be playing also at the Summer Jam 3 alongside DJ Cadillac Kid, who's in the house music heads of the Lehigh Valley. And we're bringing in a special guest. And that special guest is DJ Omar Flames from Jamaica, straight from Yard, coming to rock out with the Function Sound. You don't want to miss that, man. That's going to be a block party, an actual block party here in Eastern Pennsylvania. Hashtag the Summer Jam 3, Memorial Day weekend, that Saturday, the 27th. Come on, man, let's go. this song because. Yeah. Jesus. Jesus. Jesus.
Jesus.
Jesus. Jesus.
That's the name.
Jesus. Oh, G, I need you, on G.
Jesus.
Jesus.
She ain't got no voice.
Jesus. Jesus. Come here, Javi. Jesus.
Jesus.
Go to the door and let Jerome in.
Jesus. Jesus.
Hey, Lord.
Jesus.
Y'all
Hey.
keep saying that name down.
Dr. D, the original gospel DJ
The original.
from the Function Sound, is on the set. Hey.
I just
Hey.
keep saying that name down.
Hey.
Now.
You sound like
Wow.
my song, boy.
Dr. D, the deacon of the Function Sound, just walked back in the studio. So,
I heard him say,
I got the elder and the deacon. Now, the deacon not teased, but the elder, that's an actuality. Hold on, Dr. D. Pause that record right there. So, let's just talk about that for a second. Folks, you're listening to the Friday Night Function show, the Spring House Sessions finale. It is night 4. We've been playing house music, all forms of house music for the whole entire month of April. Now, for those of us, those are my friends and my associates who are DJs that played during the Spring House Sessions in 2016 and still haven't heard that on the podcast, I apologize. So if you happen to hear these first, it's only because Rome's home. All right? And I'm just going to give you what we just did, and then we work backwards to stuff that I missed, okay? So that's it. But for those of you who are listening right now on the podcast or live, we have a treat because Dr. D lives at home in New York City. Home for me, home for DJ Rome regarding the Function Sound. And he is on the air every Sunday night into Monday morning on 90.3 WHCR FM.
Amen.
And the show is called Late Night Journey Part 2. So we don't get to see Dr. D every week out here in the from the Poconos through the Lehigh Valley. So when Dr. D comes, it's because two things are happening. Number one, it's the house sessions.
Yeah, it says. It's a house session.
And number two, Aunt G said it's okay.
That's right. In that order.
So, Dr. D, man, what do you think of DJ Amir, man, who was on before you?
Oh, no, definitely. He was awesome. He was awesome. I realized that there's different stages of DJing, different kinds of DJing. And I'm not the one that worked the knobs like he does, and play like 3 tracks. So I was just totally into what he was doing and his techniques and his style. So it's him, especially he's 16. Man, when he gets 18, he's gonna be terrible. He's gonna be terrible.
He's gonna be a beast.
Yeah.
So then, seeing him and being having a form of inspiration from him, you know, we cannot discount the fact that you've been DJing for over 25 years.
33.
33 years,
Yes.
you know. So, and you've been on the air for
23 years.
23 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 33 years, and you started in a crew of DJs, or was that DJ Rome, or maybe that was just a similar background?
No, we started in a crew of 6 DJs, and that's why I always say I'm the original, because we were the original gospel DJs.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the crew?
Yeah, gospel DJs.
It was just gospel DJs. Okay, all right. Now, where were you living at that time? Were you in Brooklyn?
Same place I'm living now, the Planet Brooklyn.
Oh man, that's love. So DJ Rome tells me about the fact that for him growing up in Queens, in Queens, Queens, New York.
That's New York.
That is New York. It's the flyest borough in New York, you know. All right, but growing up in Queens in his era, he knows that there is a real story about hip hop culture starting in Queens that is not really told.
Okay.
Is there a story about gospel music in terms of the streets recognizing gospel music, is there a story that hasn't been told yet or is not well known?
Yeah, just the whole story of how we got started. Because technically, or on the books, on the paper, hip hop started with DJ Herc and everything about 1977.
Right.
So, like, when he started, every borough started going into the, if there was a park, there was a DJ that plugged into the light pole.
Right.
That's what it was all about.
Mhm.
And in the midst of all of that, about 1979, God put it on our spirit to go out and reach young people with gospel music. Because you only heard gospel music on Sundays on a particular time slot, and then from Monday till Saturday they had nothing to hold on to. So God put it in our heart, we need you to put music out there that they don't have on the radio and that they can carry with them through the week.
Okay.
And that's why we started doing like mixtapes like most DJs did. And then what happened was, because the DJs didn't know the music at different church functions,
Right.
because churches wanted DJs, but what they would do was hire the DJs. They would bring the music and tell the DJ what to play.
Right.
Because he didn't know the music.
Right.
So when it started getting around that there was a bunch of DJs that knew gospel music, we started doing those gigs from roller skating to anniversaries to block parties and all that, because we knew the music, we lived the music, and all they did was hire us and just let us go. They didn't have to tell us what to play. We knew, and that's how we got started. So that story has really never been told.
Wow.
Never been told.
Well, you're starting to hear that story here first on the Friday Night Function show, Spring House Sessions 2017, Night 4, the finale. Here's another thing, Doc. For those of you who are just now listening to this, full disclosure, Dr. D is my uncle. I grew up under his tutelage. We all attended the same church, and Dr. D was one of the older heads, the elders that was in charge of the young adults. And wasn't in charge of the young adult ministry in my church. Our church was on Bedford Avenue, right around the corner, at the same corner store where Biggie was at, you know? So we probably saw Big and then didn't even know what he was going to be. But he was down the block. Like, you could walk to his church, but it wasn't a short walk, you know? Like 15 minutes or less. And my brother and I and a few others started going over there because when we went for a what do you call that? A joint service,
Right.
You know,
A youth service.
youth service. It was lit. Like, you know, they had drummers there. They was playing. Like I forget homie's name with the Jerry Curls and the glasses. Ian.
Oh,
Ian.
yeah.
Ian was rocking out. You
Yeah.
know, then on keyboards.
Walter.
Walter. You know, the vibe was just different, and they were all West Indian like us, but they was rocking over there, and the girls was pretty. I said that for Michelle. I said that for my wife because she says I left Bedford Zion to go over the Miller for the girls over there. I just said that for you, boo. You know, right? But listen, truth be told, years later that she had her eye, or somebody had her eye on her, at that same church. So I'm just saying, you know, hello. All right. But yeah, we went over to your church, and that's when I started being exposed to you. And you started exposing us to gospel hip hop, you know? And then we went out, you know, and to different places that you played, and they started to see what we saw in hip hop culture, but with gospel, you know? And listen, even in the 70s, there was always something that could reach the youth. So while the adults were rocking with Mighty Clouds of Joy, we was rocking with Andre Crouch. All right, think about it. There was a difference, you know. So while there was, you know, whoever, you know, quartet from wherever, there was the Winans, you know, and the young adults and the youth were rocking with them. And to us, when John P. Key came, it was like over, like that's us right there. And you were at the forefront of really introducing that to the young adults.
And that's only because we were doing what we were called to do. If you was a DJ, your whole job was to break music. You didn't play what was on the radio. They, you know, at that time, you had Walter Hawkins and all those guys on the radio. That was the norm. When it came to, I mean, any other genre, when it came to jazz, when it came to hip hop, when it came to contemporary, when it came to, you know, even down to reggae and soca and all that other kind of stuff, radio didn't play. So you only heard that, like, for what DJs do. They break music. So when you wanted new music, And I always like to tell the story with Frankie Crocker. He's known for breaking music in New York City, but he hung out at the club with the DJs.
That's right.
He hung out with the DJs, caught the tune, and took it to the radio. That's how he did it. And he was never ashamed to say that. He was never ashamed to say that. And that's our job. And so, you know, we're not supposed to duplicate radio. We're supposed to be a contemporary to radio and expose that music that radio won't play. And that's our job. And that's what we did. And that's why you heard it.
We're hearing, so it sounds like it came out my mouth, right? But you see where I get it from, right? Okay, there you go. That's the foundation of the function sound, you know, in this iteration of that regarding radio, you know. We are left of sensitive. We do seek out the newer talent.
That's right.
And blend it with what we like that's out there now.
That's right.
But our job isn't to play what everybody else plays.
Nope.
Our job is to bang out new joints, or bang out different joints that you haven't heard.
And plus to mix it and remix it and spin it and do different things with it. With the radio do. Everybody has their job. You know, I always tell it when I used to go to, you know, with the radio announcers at the WGMWA, I used to tell them there's no reason to be jealous because it's dumb for apples to be jealous of oranges. It's just dumb. You know, we're two different things. You're apple. One of us are apples. One of us is oranges. But together we have a nice fruit bowl. And I said that's what you guys got to look at. You know,
I felt the word.
Yeah, that football. You know, that kind of stuff because we're not competitions. We're just doing two different things. And you know, sometimes, especially when I was growing up, it was hard. It was hard for radio to really engulf DJs. They embrace us. They did not. So we did our own thing. And that's what we was known for.
Well, let me tell you something else that people don't necessarily know. We're going to get back to the music for a second. But I just want to take a second to point out the significance of my exuberance when it comes to having Dr. D as a member of the Function Sound. I have been in certain clubs in New York City, in Brooklyn, where I wouldn't normally go to a club because I would not want to get shot or stabbed, all right? I wouldn't want to get stepped to. I'm just not that person. But I've been to some notorious clubs in Brooklyn, one of which was a skating rink called Empire. Empire, I think anybody in Brooklyn ever has been in Empire roller skating rink. I've been in Empire, but I've been in Empire when they was playing gospel.
That's right.
But who was the DJ that was there breaking the gospel music in Empire? The same place you could go see Spragga Benz, the same place you can go see Shabba Ranks, is the same place you can go hear gospel music because Dr. D, that man on my camera, broke gospel music in the clubs in Brooklyn, New York.
We actually went in a club on Utica Avenue. And played gospel music.
Right across the street from the diner.
When we went in, we had like a case of air fresheners because we had to get rid of the herb and the beer bottles and all that stuff for the saints to come in. And it's like we broke. Again, that's the reason Empire was the place to be if you was in the roller skating. I mean, the top roller skaters from around the world hung out at Empire because it was just that good. If you wanted to learn how to skate, you went to Empire.
That's right.
Some of the best DJs were at Empire, and it was God's blessing that we was able to get into that genre, and God's favor to me. Several of the house, the resident DJs took a liking to me, you know, and therefore when I was up there in the booth, they was there with me, showing me things to do, and so they showed me what to do with music, which I translated to gospel music. So after a while, what they did with mainstream music, I was doing with gospel music because they taught me.
Right.
And it's just like, you know, when I got into it, my next door neighbor, he was a DJ, and then my sister's boyfriend, he was a DJ. So unlike the rest of the guys in the group, everywhere I went, I was around DJs. So I was there. So that's why I'm still here. Because that was taught, you know, bred into me, what DJs do, the techniques and that kind of stuff. So, you know, Empire was like the place to be. That was one of my favorite places because and to me, to God's credit,
Right.
it wasn't the fact that we was an empire and the Christians were skating to the music.
Mhm.
I knew when I arrived when the house skate guards skated to the music. When the house skate guards at the end of the night say, "Yo, Doc, you rock," I knew I was doing something.
Okay.
Right.
You know, because they know all these top DJs that come through there with mainstream.
Right.
And for them to come out sweating and stuff like that, and you see them going around doing their thing, and they like this, I was like, I was blessed, you know, that we was doing the same thing, but with gospel music.
Dr. D, we got somebody here that wants to give you a shout out on the air right
Who
now.
might that be?
This is your time, bro. Come on. Hello.
You are listening to the Friday Night Function with my man DJ Dirty Fingers, which is also my dad and my uncle. The gospel of the function sound. The elder of the function sound. Dr. D. And you just heard from DJ Truth.
Truth!
There it is.
Mic drop.
Go ahead, nephew.
So there it is, folks. Dr. D. That's the reason why I'm always excited to have him here and around. And Dr. D, you just said something that just reiterates a private thing that I have in my head. That you know, listen, I don't consider myself a regular Christian or maybe a sanctified Christian that cannot be amongst the people. You know, and some of the people that I know have not stepped inside of the church, all right, but they know who God is.
Right.
And one of the things that I've learned since going to Greater Shiloh is that, you know, wherever we walk, that's where God is, right? And sometimes the only example that people get to see of God
Is us.
is us, right?
That's right.
My thing with Christians, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I left Bedford Zion, is when we just talk to the walls, we're not reaching anybody.
Correct.
You know?
That's right.
So
That's right.
if I want to expand, you know, if I want my friends to be saved, like you got to talk to my friends. You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
if you're not even willing to go meet them where they are,
My
you know,
God, you're not
they might
doing your
never
job.
come to you.
Right.
And that's one thing that's been effective about your ministry is that you were willing to go where people would not go.
Amen.
You know, you were willing to go where people probably told you should not be.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, you're not supposed to be
In the club.
right? But then, okay, so what about the worker that works in that club? Shouldn't they be exposed to gospel? What about the people that are coming in, you know, to, all right, well, you know, our time is now. And then, what was going on beforehand? Oh, gospel? Oh, wow.
Right.
I might come a
exactly.
little earlier
Some
and
people
check
did.
that out.
Right.
You know?
Some people did.
What about them?
You just have to understand what your role is.
Mhm.
Like you said, Rome is now deacon. I've been blessed to be an elder.
Well, I tease him and call him a deacon. I don't really know if he actually is, but
But he's on his way. He's on his way. Because the same thing happened to me. Before I became a deacon, the title was given to me 2 years before I became a deacon.
hello.
So, and then, you know, God gives us a title, and then He grows us into the point where where the title meets up with our ministry. So you're a deacon and you're walking it up to catch up to that title, and that's where it really works.
All right.
That's what, because there's never been a title given to me that I took for myself. It's always been given to me.
Sure.
Even like Dr. D, when I started DJing, it was Mr. D, because my older cousin, who was a radio announcer and a DJ, gave me that name.
Okay.
So when I started DJing, following him, he called me Mr. D. So that was what I was called until my first radio show, and I was on a guest DJ on another young lady's radio show. And because she heard my music and it was different, and that's what she wanted. So in between, it was a talk show. So in between the commercial, I would play music. So when they took the phone calls, this pastor called in, and he kept talking about the show. He kept saying Dr. D's playing good music. He talking about the show, and Dr. D's playing good music. And I was like, Pastor, I thank you for the compliment, but my name is Mr. D. He said, no, sir. God said from this day, your name is Dr. D.